yeah, this is the end of a long practice period, which I pretty much didn't participate in, but I remember what that feels like. The Ango, when I was Shuso, head monk, head priest, uh, at Mountain Center, we, boy, talk about not being hooked up. We didn't have a phone. We maybe had, we didn't have Wi-Fi. We didn't have a phone. We didn't have Wi-Fi. And my job was to go every day down to the Seventh-day Adventist camp, which was a mile away, and take messages off the phone there. 90 days just sitting, and didn't leave the property. In those days, the head priest didn't leave the property for 90 days. And outhouse for 90 days. I dreamed of a porcelain toilet. You find out what you really miss when you live like that. But anyway, then we did that ceremony at the end, and I wasn't a public speaker. I'd never really done much public speaking. It was the first time I kind of exposed myself to the Sangha and talked. I was so nervous. Finally, it was over, and we went out to that restaurant, and now they tore down. What was the name of that place?
Fallon Bruce's.
What?
Fallon Bruce's.
No, the one right at the junction there.
Yeah.
Fallon Bruce? I didn't remember that name. Anyway, hamburgers, and I had dreamed of gin and tonic. And no meat for 90 days. So I had hamburger, french fries, and 2 gin and tonics. And I threw up so bad. So much. So the end of Ango can be a difficult time. And the end of seshing can be like re-entering. So for those who aren't used to sitting a full week or even a couple days, oftentimes we find ourselves, well, making bad decisions, like that meal. But then we went back and we watched, this was when I went to throw up, we watched Smoke Signals, that movie, which is so great. If you haven't seen it, one of the first Native American movies, and it was generator. There wasn't electricity, so there was a generator with this odor from the generator. Hamburger, gin and tonics, generator. So anyway, I just wanted to push Smoke Signals. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's hysterical. So we oftentimes find ourselves irritable, snapping at people, mad at our life, because you kind of walk out of session like, oh, I got so much stuff figured out. I'm really clear now. No more emotions for me or whatever. And stuff has been stirred up. So yeah, just and also now life is, I figured something out. It's all gonna just be perfect now from now on, even though all the teachings tell us that life is ups and downs. That's what I've been talking about. That wandering in the mountains can be like spring, and it can be like ants and hail and getting lost, and it's both. So the first hiccup that we have when we end session can kind of be hard. So anyway, just be aware. Give yourself some space to also watch what comes up after session. So Kyoshin did the ceremony, finished the ceremony. So she's now a preceptor, which means she can do Jukai ceremony. And she's a precepts expert, so obviously, there's nothing worse. I met this nun who was, and we were told she's an expert on precepts or ethics. A nun. This is another Bob Kennedy story. Why are you coming into my life now? I don't know. But he had invited her to, I think we were doing Ash Wednesday or something. And I was so nervous to meet her. I thought she'd probably be, like with the ruler, like my idea of what a ethics nun would be like. The gentlest, kindest person and forgiving. That's what to look for someone who follows the precepts or practices following the precepts. It's a practice. So anyway, I have a rock stew for her too, but and then Kyoshin's going to talk. So this rock stew had to write something on it, and but talking about that meandering in the woods, and of course Kyoshin's up there in Idlewild, which is, I don't want to set up the page now. How did I tell you that? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, mountain lover. Yeah, talk about hardship in mountains. One time, I don't know if I ever told Kyoshin, I love to walk alone, which is bad. It's bad, but I love to do it. I was on Taquitz, right? And it was warm. It was a beautiful day, but there was ice. And I found myself where really it was very, very icy, and down there was death. It was very dangerous, and I was too crazy to even know that. But I just got on my hands and knees and crawled out. Um, so that's what can happen to you in the mountains. Unfortunately, I did have a moment of, I'm just going to walk out of here. I'm a skilled hiker. And then this little voice said, let's just do it like a baby and crawl onto this ice. And then I saw, speaking of bears, I saw on the internet about this polar bear, and they were showing how when they want to get to the iceberg or something, but the ice is really thin, they scooch like a baby. They like swim across the ice because if they walk, they'll break through. So anyway, those are the dangers of this meandering in the woods. And it reminds me of that koan, go straight on a narrow mountain path, which has 99 curves. How do you go straight on a mountain path with 99 curves? That's one of the first 200 koans. It's a good koan for you. How do you go straight in this crazy life where things are thrown at us from every direction? Great joy, Beyonce movie, and great pain, the struggles in these wars of poverty, starvation. How do you go straight on a mountain path with 99 curves? So that's all I wanted this for, but I swear my short-term memory, I couldn't remember that. I had to bring it with me. Anyway, it's another thing about this long life, losing your mind. But so I had to write something on here for the ocean. Should I get it? Not yet. Okay. Poor Kyoshin. She said she's going to be so happy not doing whatever I tell her to do.
That's not true.
So it's an interesting rock stew because it's nice, isn't it? It's handmade. It's beautiful. I was given this maybe in Japan. I was avid for a day, which is something for a woman to be avid for a day at AAG and Sojuji. It's really something. I was sick and unhappy, but I think maybe I got this Roxu then. So it's got Japanese writing on it, but I wanted to give her a green one because the preceptors, it's about action. Like this picture is Kuan Yin, which the many hands of Kuan Yin taking care of things. And Kuan Yin is the heart, which is green. The red energy is the root chakra, or sex. That's red. Connection. Great connection is red. The green is action, is the heart. So green is a good color. But anyway, I decided to leave the Japanese on it. I'm sure this is wrong, but we're not in Japan. So what I put on here is, for your poem, is walking straight on a winding mountain path, given to Kyoshin, December 3rd, 2023.
You did that all by yourself.
We had some trouble with dating. Shungaku Station is misspelled, so I have to put an A in there. But otherwise, I did it perfect. So let's see, we can just face each other, and you can take that Ratsu off. Congratulations. And can she talk from there? Just move this, or should she move here?
She's fine there.
Oh, I see.
That's how it works, huh? Okay. Oh, man. I can't say thank you enough times, so I'll just say it again. So I think the most important thing to say, maybe, at least what it feels like most important in the moment. I'll try to speak up since I have to talk over the screen too, is that I really like, Seisen said during Sesshin in one of her talks, she talked about, can you hear me okay? Greg, can you hear me? She talked about the precepts being like signposts. And this last summer on our backpack trip, my annual backpack trip with some friends, we were misled about how much snow there was going to be where we were in the Sierra. And we were told, oh, no snow below 11,000 feet. Well, somebody's laughing. We were between 8,000 and 9,000 feet, and there was tons of snow. And actually, the first day trying to get to what we thought was going to be our base camp, and we were going to just do day hiking from there. By 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we had to do so much trail finding, going over drifts of snow, the trails obscured. We're just trying to tell, not even from the map, but just from reading the landscape, where we're going. And at a certain point, it's like, wow, we might just have to like camp between these two snow piles. Anyway, trail markers and maps are very important. My closest friend that I do a lot of backpacking with, we started out on the John Muir Trail in 2015. And I said, so where's your map? And she said, I've got the app. I'm like, you're kidding me. Like, that's ridiculous. You don't set out into the wilderness without a map in hand that you can read if the power goes out and your phone dies, or you drop it in the water, or a bear takes it. There you go.
That can happen.
When they're stealing your bear canister. Anyway, my point is that the markers are really, really, really important. And the precepts are our markers. And expectedly or unexpectedly, there's going to be snowdrifts. And we're going to think we know where to go. And we're going to feel lost at times. And last night in the preceptor ceremony, I just was so affected, impressed, frightened by the power of the precepts. And I've always heard, maybe Seisin will correct me, but I've always heard that, you know, a really important way to look at the precepts is this is how to live an enlightened, an awakened life. So we have this aspiration. We chanted this morning, raise the Bodhi mind, raise the mind of awakening, raise the mind of seeing oneself as other and other as oneself. Really seeing into, however we define that, true nature. And Seisin also talked, I think Seisin or Choa, maybe both of them, mentioned during Sesshin that in the Soto school, these two aspects are the two most important things. Seeing the basic nature of our life, the basic wholeness that is there always. And then the precepts.
Agreed.
I always that hope the person's okay if it's in the ambulance. So, you guys, it's not about them as the ruler on our knuckles. Although I guess that's an aspect of it. Just follow them. But it's more like from the nurturing of this is to support us and help us. And this is the ancestors coming through. That's also, this is the work of the bodhisattvas and the ancestors and that's what they did. That's what they're thrilled that we're doing. And the precepts are these tremendous resources and guideposts. And one of the things that Wayu Sensei said to me when he was reading them to me in the beginning of the ceremony is you break one, you break them all. You keep one, you keep them all. Because when you start to really read them, everything is interrelated. And it's really just how do we be present and true with what's happening and bring our whole selves in as authentic and caring and compassionate of a way as possible, but clear and sometimes direct. So anyway, I can feel myself on the edge of going on, which the hook will come out and pull me off, I'm sure. But basically, just want to encourage us all that whether you've formally taken the precepts or not, they're available to everyone as this wonderful resource and guideposts to realizing our aspiration of leading an awake life. And just on a personal note, I shared this last night right after the ceremony. I think Cezanne wasn't there, but just that it has been a personal aspiration of mine. I don't know if you can say personal. It's been an aspiration of mine for a very long time I feel like I have received so much teaching. And at a certain point, I think it's just natural that you want to give back. And I feel very honored and privileged to be in the position to be able to support others in taking the precepts formally, informally, but formally if you want, to support you in your life, in your own intentions and aspirations.